Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and we're back out here in the garage for another upcoming projects video, and I guess also a little bit of behind the scenes because I want to talk about my Rumble channel and I guess discuss what I think Rumble is turning into, which is a little bit disappointing for content creators like myself. It's not necessarily bad, it's just that I think as a company, they're wanting to go in a different direction, and I was hoping if any of you guys follow me on Rumble or follow other content creators on Rumble, what you think is their direction. But we'll talk about that in just a moment. I was doing some Texas gun vaulting today, and I met 3 people. I had to drop off a firearm to my friend Michael, and he told me that in the future, hopefully this summer, he'll have a few more, I guess we'll say antique guns for me to review. So I'm excited about that. I got done with his Sig Sauer P226 double action Kellerman in both 40 and 357. And then I went and saw my friend Richard, and he always has something cool to lend to the channel. In fact, all the people that lend guns to the channel have cool stuff. And he has lent me this. This is the Smith & Wesson FPC, but in 10mm. I reviewed his version of this gun in 9mm. And in that review, there were a few people that thought I got a couple of things wrong. And they made some very fair points. You know, this is a learning process for me as well as hopefully it is for you as you get to discover stuff about firearms that you may like or not like or whatever. And so I learned a few things that maybe after I made that review, I was like, you know, they made some fair points. And if I ever get to review another one, maybe I'll do it a different way. And I will get that opportunity with this gun. Essentially, it's the same firearm, but in 10mm. And besides the caliber change, it's my understanding that the gun operates a little bit different. The recoil spring system's a little bit different, and the takedown is slightly different. So I'll probably end up doing a range report and a field strip video with this gun. And I won't say it's a range report revisit, but I will try to address some of the concerns that people had in my first review. I mean, overall, it gets a very, good score from people. They like the review. They thank me for it. But sometimes they'll say, hey, I disagree with your opinion about that. And okay, I think you're right. So that's what we're going to do. Now, when I also picked this up, and I'm kind of curious what some of you would think. I know Richard is already looking at this gun going, oh my gosh, he already changed something. He has this Vortex Spark. And when he lent it to me, it was out here on the end of the rail. And I've seen a few people do this in the past, and I haven't gone to the range with this gun yet, but I kind of played with it here in the garage, and I was looking through it, and it's really kind of weird. But I have seen other people put optics out on the end, and I was curious what you guys thought about that. And I think he was telling me it gives you kind of a better field of view, and the way that you kind of focus on the dot and look beyond the sight is better. I'm not sure. I think when I go to the range, I will move this kind of back and forth and, see what... and see if what he said was kind of true. But for right now, I kind of moved it back to more of a traditional placement on the rail. So we're also going to review this suppressed. So I have a couple of suppressors of my own that are 45 caliber suppressors that I think will work. I just have to figure out what the thread pitch for this barrel is. And hopefully I have a mount for it. Not 100% sure what it is, but I have a suppressor for it. And so I'll run this both suppressed and unsuppressed. So very interesting gun. I did like the original in 9mm, but I think 10mm is going to be a better caliber for this platform because in a rifle, 10mm I think is going to be much more effective. So tell me your thoughts on the 10mm, make sure I get it right, FPC from Smith & Wesson, and tell me what you think about this platform and what you think if you've ever used an optic on the end of the rail. All right, so that's the first project. Then I went over and saw my friend Jack number 1, and I returned, I don't know, 4 or 5 things of his. I returned a Kel-Tec P11 that I reviewed, a Surefire, like polymer lowered, kind of custom 6.5 Grendel build. I returned, what else was it? Oh, a Ruger was it the SP101? Is that what it's called? GP101? I forgot what the revolver is. And a couple of other things. And so he had a pistol and I guess a brace pistol for me. It's a pistol and a brace pistol. I was going to say rifle, but technically it's a brace pistol. Let's talk about this one first. This is the Smith & Wesson M&P 380 Shield Easy. And this one is, I think, kind of marketed towards people that might have weaker wrist or lady shooters, or maybe somebody that's looking for a firearm that's easy to manipulate. And this one I'm actually really excited about trying out because it's a little bit of a departure from the standard M&P line. So the slide is really easy to rack. Somehow they redesigned it where you don't have as much tension in the recoil spring. It is a tilting barreled action firearm, which probably means this is going to be a very soft shooting gun. I'm glad to see more companies are putting locking mechanisms in 380s. I really think it just helps the action and the recoil impulse. But it also has some wings or winglets here on the back of the cocking serrations to, I guess, ostensibly help people rack the slide, get a better purchase on that. It's a single stack 380. I kind of thought it'd be double stack from the size of the grip. But the big difference between the M&P series is we do not have a thumb safety, which not all M&Ps have that. We do not have a blade safety, which is pretty common on all of the polymer striker-fired pistols, but we do have a grip safety. And I think this is a really cool addition. It's very much like a 1911, so before anybody says, that's a stupid idea, well, the Springfield XD series, I think, uses them, and 1911s use them. And actually, I think this is a better safety in general than the blade safety. And the reason I say that is even a trigger with a blade safety in it, if something gets in the trigger guard, let's say a woman is carrying it in her purse, and I'll just make up something, a lipstick container gets in there. Even if you have the blade safety and the gun is maneuvered in such a way, which by the way, you should always have a firearm in a holster, so hopefully the trigger guard is protected, but in case it isn't or the gun comes out of the holster, you have, let's say you have a lipstick container come in there, even with the blade safety, it can pull that trigger back and makes the gun unsafe. But with this, you have to have pressure exerted on the back of the frame for it to fire. So obviously the gun is safety checked for all you safety Sallies out there. So if my hand is not on the grip, nothing happens at all. And I actually think, as I said, overall, there it goes. That is a better idea for a safety. That is, I guess, actuated when you're trying to use the firearm. And for anybody that says it's stupid, I guarantee you like and shoot 1911s. And they have the exact same safety. And I like this. I don't think you necessarily need all the safeties, but you need something like this. In fact, I wish more companies would include this type of a safety more than, you know, let's say the blade safety or other safeties. I mean, even think about the Smith & Wesson, the Sig Sauer P320. Imagine if the P320s had some type of safety like this, they probably wouldn't be having all those accidental or negligent discharges that they're having and having all the brouhaha about that. So this is a 380. This is going to be a nice little pistol to review, and I'm a big fan of the M&P series. So, yeah, and this is the 2.0, so it should have the more rigid frame out here and the better trigger. So, the M&P 380 Shield Easy M2.0. And then last but not least, we have a Ruger, what is this? The Charger. So this is essentially like a Ruger 1022, but in a pistol format. So short barrel, but we do have a pistol stabilizing brace on it. So this is not a rifle. I know some people do SBR these. It does have a threaded barrel, so I will run this suppressed as well. I have a couple of 22 suppressors, and that would give me a chance to actually review some of my own suppressors as well. I just have to figure out what sights I'm going to put on this. So I think I have a O-Sight I can put on here. I just finished reviewing the Sight Mark. I might put it on here. But this is essentially a short-barreled version of a Ruger 1022. Now, I'm going to tell you what my initial impressions are, okay? My initial impressions are this is actually kind of a cool gun. I think it's really neat. However, I think it looks goofy. And it's not, as I said, that's not going to change the effectiveness of the gun or my rating based off of its performance. But it just looks goofy with such a short barrel. And there's just no way around it. Now, maybe it will grow on me. When I was younger and I was looking at short-barreled ARs, like let's say you have a Colt Commando, which has an 11.5-inch barrel, or you look at a essentially something with like delta rings, an A-pillar front sight, but has a really short barrel. I used to think those looked goofy and wrong. Like there was something wrong with them. Like it's weird not to have that 14.5-inch or 16-inch barrel out there. It doesn't look balanced. But now I think it's a great look. And maybe it's because I've had a lot of trigger time on guns like that. I feel, you know, better about them and I like the way that they shoot. But sometimes the aesthetics of a gun can really kind of throw me for a loop. And I have never in general liked the way the Ruger Chargers looked. The barrel's just too short. Now, is this going to be accurate? Most likely. I mean, 22 long rifle, I think, stabilizes with what, like 2 inches of barrel length? So, I mean, this thing's probably going to be great. I mean, especially for me reviewing it at, let's say, a 25-yard range. It just looks goofy as hell. But that doesn't mean it's bad. And it may grow on me. So, he did put this pistol stabilizing brace on it. It is folding. And I think you got to pull it up. Yeah, pull it up, and it folds. And I like the fact it folds to the left. So if you did want to use it like a pistol, you can still get to the charging handle and the ejection port is not covered. Now he did add this little bipod up here, but I'll probably use it and keep it on. And I see a lot of people with the Charger pistols having bipods on them. So as I said, I'll just kind of keep it on there. But in general, the Ruger 1022 platform is awesome. I know that sometimes I can be a little bit critical of Ruger because I don't necessarily like their firearms with the exception of the ones that they designed from the ground up. The Ruger 1022 I think is fantastic. The Mini 14, which I would love to review and never reviewed one, I think is a fantastic gun. But when it comes to like their copies of other guns, I just don't think of them as being as good as the originals. So, yeah, so we have this Ruger Charger, and most likely, my gut tells me, while I think it looks goofy, I'm probably going to end up shooting it well and really liking it. So, those are the upcoming projects. So, tell me which one interests you the most. I can tell you tonight, I'm going to the range with one of D's guns, and it's the last one in kind of the set that he gave me and lent to me for a while. It's a Noveski in 6.5 Creedmoor. So that's going to the range tonight, and then I got to review a suppressor. I think, though, I'm going to put this pistol in the bag to go with me, because pistols are typically really easy to film for review. They're just the most straightforward. I don't have to do a lot, and I got lots of 380 ammo, thanks to Brownworks, so thank you, Mark. So I have lots of ammo for this. So I'll probably take that to the range because that won't take me much time at all. So let me know if any of that interests you in the upcoming projects stuff. So now I wanted to talk about a little bit of behind the scenes. I know that every once in a while, YouTube goes on these tears against firearms YouTube channels where they censor, they demonetize, they deplatform, and it can be for stupid and innocuous reasons that are completely unrelated to their community terms of service. I mean, they have clearly defined community terms of service, but they will say somebody that's like telling the news about guns, oh, you're selling guns. It's like, no, if you watch the video, they're not selling, they're talking about a crime story or a judicial story from a state of Nebraska or something. And it's silly and stupid, and there's no recourse, and it's just taken down. And sometimes they'll go on these things where they just take down so many videos or take down so many channels. And during those times, people always say we have to have another platform where we can post our videos that's going to get out to the masses. And for a long time, Rumble has been that platform. And I try to upload to both Rumble and YouTube together. Often my Rumble videos are a little bit late. I don't upload to there as frequent. I do get all the videos over there, though. It just takes me longer. I'll typically do them like larger batches on the weekends because they got rid of the Rumble option where it would sync from your YouTube channel. That was an amazing option, and I used to love that because I could just upload to YouTube and then it would immediately transfer to Rumble, but they don't allow that anymore. And I've noticed that Rumble, and based off of the content creators that I follow over there, and the way that the creator studio is looking, I can tell that Rumble wants to be different from YouTube because they want people that are going to stream or like live stream and do that kind of content. They really are pushing content creators, especially if you want monetization or to earn any type of ad revenue sharing from them, that you have to stream so many hours a week. And not only do you have to stream so many hours a week, now they have a thing where you have to be a member of Rumble Premium, which means you have to pay them to be a member to hopefully get monetized on streams and to get this kind of stuff. Now, all of the videos I do post over there are monetized. I don't have any problems over there. They say they're monetized, but I have noticed that the ad revenue on Rumble is diminishing quickly. In fact, I don't even think I'm getting anything at all, even though the videos are monetized. I don't know what's going on, but they do not seem to be promoting videos like this where I film and upload. And I've noticed that on my feed when it comes to the other channels I follow over there. If they're a gun content creator, I don't necessarily get their long form videos in my feed, but I get their streams. That's what they want to be. They want to be a streaming service where content creators create things in the moment versus uploading long-form videos that are there for the long term. And that honestly kind of saddens me because I think they're going to miss the boat. I know they want to be a big player in the vlogging scene and the news stuff, but what we need more than current events in the moment content is we need a platform where we can upload videos that will help people in the future. Things like field strips or just information that is timeless. And by timeless, I don't mean forever and ever and ever. I mean just like, for example, a field strip on this FPC, I think is going to be beneficial for a lot of people that are wanting to know how to take this apart. But if I only live stream it, you're only going to see it for like 2 hours and then it gets buried in a ton of other live streams. But if the video is there, you can easily search it and find it. And I'm kind of worried that Rumble is not trying to build off of that success and that format that YouTube is trying to do. They just want big content creators to be live streaming, and I think that's bad. I mean, I think it's good because they allow other things. They allow without censorship, and it's fantastic from that point of view. But I think they're missing the boat. And I was curious if any other content creators that are like myself and upload both to YouTube and Rumble, are you noticing issues with Rumble, the monetization, and are you having any success over there anymore? Because I've noticed that my numbers are dropping, my subscriptions are dropping, comments are dropping because they're trying to promote live streaming. And I don't do that. I just don't seem to have the internet connection. I was thinking over the summer I might try to do some more live streams, both here on YouTube, and give Rumble a shot. Give Rumble a shot, see if anybody shows up, and just see what happens. And that's really, really what I want to see, and see if that changes anything. But I don't want to spend, you know, money every month to be part of the Rumble Premium program in the hopes of being accepted into this ad share. It's like, well, YouTube, to their credit, doesn't do that. You just have to create the content, and if people like it and watch it, you know, you can get monetized. So in some ways, I think they're better. So anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. some upcoming projects, and some boring Rumble behind the scenes. So if you're a content creator or you follow these channels on Rumble, tell me what you're seeing and what you think. So if you made it to the end of today's video, the word of the day, which normally is at the end of the video, is going to be, let's just say Rumble. Rumble's an easy word for us to use. So hopefully it'll get you guys engaged and telling me what you think about Rumble. And that lets me know that you guys are true vault dwellers and can stand listening to me talk for 20 minutes and 25 seconds. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below about anything I talked about. And as always, thanks for watching.